Now we're looking at non-right angled triangles. So none of the ratios that we used before will work for these triangles. They don't have a 90-degree angle, but they have their own properties. So we're going to be looking at sine rule today. And don't get confused, the sine rule is not the same as the sine ratio. So this is the way we label our right-angled, or non-right angled triangle, I should say. We have this triangle that we label A, B and C. They are the angles with the capital letters. Now, directly across from angle B is side B. Directly across from angle A is side A. And directly across from angle C is side C. This will always be the case. Now the rule that links all these sides and angles together looks like this. A over sine of angle A is equal to side B over sine of angle B, which is equal to C over sine of angle C. We only ever really need to use two parts of this rule at any one time. So we might actually just use the last two together or the first two together. So let's have a look at examples to show you what I mean by this. So we're looking at this triangle here, which is already labelled for us, A, B and C. So what do we know about this triangle? Well, you can see directly across from angle B is side B. Directly across from angle C is side C. So the information I have is B is equal to 25. I'm asked to find angle B, so that's what I'm looking for. I know that side C is equal to 32, and I know that angle C is equal to 80 degrees. Now, hopefully what you can see here is that we have got these two bits of the rule that we're going to use, because we need to have 3 of the 4, and the only thing we don't have is angle B. So B over sine of B is equal to C over sine of C. Let's fill in the information here. So we've got 25 over sine of B, which is equal to 32 over sine of 80 degrees. So let's cross multiply here. Don't use solve on your calculator when you're finding an angle. It doesn't seem to work very well. So cross multiplying means you have 25 sine of 80 degrees is equal to 32 sine of B. You're going to divide by the 32. So 25 sine of 80 degrees is equal to, divided by 32 is equal to sine of B. Now the last thing that you want to do here is find angle B. So B is equal to the inverse sine of this whole thing here. When we put that into our calculator, we end up with 50.29 degrees. Again, remember, make sure your calculator is set to degrees. So in this example, we're looking for side C. Now, if you can have a look at this, you can see that we have 2 of the angles in a triangle. So it really means that because we know all the angles in that triangle add up to 180, that this angle at A is actually going to be equal to 30 degrees. Because when you add all those angles together, you get 180 degrees. All right, so what information do we actually have here? Well, we know that we have side A, because it's directly across from angle A. We have angle C. We have angle B, and now we have angle A. So let's have a look. We have A is equal to 14. Angle A is equal to 30 degrees. Side B, we don't know, and we don't really need it either. We're not looking for it, but we do know that angle B is 115 degrees. We know that we are looking for side C, and we know that angle C is equal to 35 degrees. Now, what does this mean for us? Well, obviously, we know that we can use the sine rule because we have got a non-right angle triangle, and we need to have 3 of the 4 things that we're going to use. So if you see this, I've got that pair, and I'm going to use this pair here because out of those 2 pairs, I've got 1 unknown. So what's that rule going to be? It's going to be A over sine A is equal to C over sine C. So we're only using 2 parts, remember. Let's substitute in what we know. We've got 14 over sine of 30 degrees. And we've got C, which is what we're looking for, over sine of 35 degrees. Let's cross multiply there, and we end up with 14 sine of 35 degrees is equal to C times sine of 30. Let's bring that sine of 30 back over by dividing. So it's 14 sine of 35 degrees divided by sine of 30 degrees. That's what C is equal to. Well, when we put that into our calculator, we end up with C is equal to 16.06. In this next example, we're not given the diagram, so from the words, I've drawn the diagram, I've labelled my triangle A, B, C, put in the information that was given. I'm told that side A, which would be directly across from angle A, is 60, angle B is 130, side B, again, directly across from angle B, is 100, and I'm asked to find angle A, I'm asked to find angle C, and I'm also asked to find side C. So yet again, I'm going to write down exactly what I know. A is equal to 60, angle A, I am looking for. B is equal to 100, angle B is equal to 130 degrees. C, again, I'm looking for side C, and I'm looking for angle C. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that one of the ones that I'll be using first off is this one here, because I have the whole pair, and I think finding angle A would be a likely choice because if I use those 2 pairs, I've got only one of the bits of the piece pie missing. So let's do A over sine A is equal to B over sine B. So we have 60 over sine of A is equal to 100 over sine of 130 degrees. And we cross multiply and we get 60 times sine of 130 degrees is equal to 100 sine of A. We want to get sine of A by itself, so we divide 60 sine of 130 degrees divided by 100 equals sine of A. And to get the A by itself, it's inverse sine. Put all of this now into your calculator. Okay. And when you put that into your calculator, you get A is equal to 27.36 degrees. Now that's to 2 decimal places. So we've got angle A, we need to get angle C, and what do we know now? That because we've got 2 of the angles in the triangle, we should be able to get the third. So what does angle C equal to? Well, all the angles in the triangle are 180. We know that angle B is 130, so let's take that away, and let's take away 27.36, which was angle A, the one we just found, which makes angle C equal to 22.64 degrees. The last bit now is to find side C. So I'm going to use all the information I've got. I'm going to use B over sine of B is equal to C over sine of C. B over sine B, purely because that was the information that was given to me straight off. So I know that that is definite. I could have made mistakes with the other stuff that I've worked out. So always use the information you've given if possible. So let's put that in, and I get 100 over sine of 130 degrees, which is equal to C over sine of 22.64. All right, and I want to find C, so I'm going to cross multiply again. So 100 times sine of 22.64 is equal to C times sine of 130 degrees. I want to get C by itself. It's times by the sine 130, so I'm going to divide, and I get 100 sine of 22.64, all divided by sine of 130 degrees. C, therefore, is equal to 6.01. So Leo wants to tie a rope from a tree at point A to a tree at point B on the other side of the river. He needs to know the length of the rope required. When he stood at A, he saw the tree at B at an angle of 50 degrees with the riverbank. After walking 200 metres east to point C, the tree was seen at an angle of 30 degrees with the bank. Find the length of the rope required to reach from A to B, correct 2 decimal places. So what are we actually looking for here? Well, we're looking for the distance from A to B, so it's this bit here, and it's directly across from angle C, so it's side C that we're looking for. The other bit of important information that we know is this angle, because we know all the angles in a triangle add up to 180, so angle B must be 100 degrees. So let's write what we actually have here. So we know that A, we don't have any information about, and we don't really want anyway. We do know that angle A is equal to 50 degrees. We know that B is equal to 200, side B, and angle B we've just worked out to be 100 degrees. Side C is what we are looking for, and angle C is equal to 30 degrees. So again, let's pair them up. We need 2 pairs, and of those 2 pairs, we need to have one unknown. So if you have a look here, the 2 pairs that we're looking at will be these 2. And the only unknown there is C. So what are we going to use? We're going to use B over sine of B is equal to C over sine of C. Fill in your information. You have 200 over sine of 100 degrees, which is equal to C over sine of 30 degrees. Let's cross multiply. So that means the top with the opposite bottom. So 200 sine of 30 degrees is equal to C times sine of 100 degrees. All right, want to get the C by itself. So it's 200 sine of 30 degrees divided by sine of 100 degrees. That's what C is equal to. And so when you work all of that out, you get C is equal to 101.542. Now we want it to 2 decimal places, so that means that it is 101.54 metres.